Concord ground, Cherokee 2386 Romeo.
Cherokee 2386 Romeo, Concord ground.
2386 Romeo is a student pilot at the south ramp with Mike, looking for flight following to Darlington, uniform Delta Golf.
Cherokee 2386 Romeo, Concord ground, squawk 7114, and you'll contact Charlotte on 128.32 for your flight following.
Concord Tower, Cherokee 2386 Romeo, holding short, runway 20, ready to go.
Cherokee 2386 Romeo, Concord Tower, runway 20, cleared for takeoff and on departure. You can proceed on course.
Clear for takeoff, runway 20, 2386 Romeo.
This is a really big flight for me. This is the first time I'm doing a solo cross-country. To qualify as a cross-country, it needs to be at least 150 nautical miles in total distance, 3 takeoffs and 3 landings at different locations, and 1 segment of at least 50 nautical miles between takeoff and landing. I'm going to be doing this entirely on my own. Not only will I have to fly the airplane, I'll have to communicate with air traffic control, scan for other traffic, and navigate.
Okay. That is pretty close to 20. Okay, so heels to the floor.
Concord Tower 560 Alpha has been filled.
We're making power.
Departure 560 Alpha, roger, you back to full stop, taxi max.
Airspeed's alive.
Going back to the ramp, 560 Alpha. Departure 560 Alpha, runway 20, cleared to land.
Rotate.
Cleared to land, 560 Alpha.
And we're going to climb out at 85. And now we are looking for KEQY.
For this flight, the navigation is called pilotage and dead reckoning. Pilotage means navigating by means of landmarks. Dead reckoning means navigating based on calculations of time, airspeed, distance, and direction. If you're afraid of flying, though, I suspect you'd probably prefer this method of navigation be called something else. EQI is the call sign for Charlotte Monroe Executive Airport. It's one of the checkpoints that I picked that I thought I'd be able to see from the airplane. And this is me looking for it. That's the pilotage part.
There, is that EQI? I don't think so. So what else can I look for at EQY? How far is it? It should only be 3.5 minutes. It should be coming up.
Uh, 10 Delta Romeo, IFAR cancellation received, squad VFR.
Oh, there it is. Got it. But
Now that I've found it, I fly until I'm even with it and write down the time. I then compare the time and distance from the last checkpoint, and I use that to calculate my ground speed. And then I use that to determine if I'm going to be able to make it to my destination with the amount of fuel I have on board, which is measured in hours rather than gallons. All of this is the dead reckoning part.
That's EQY, and we'll go down to 2400. And that is 726. Okay, next is going to be...
Wake 4509, show at departure radar, contact.
In 5 miles. And Marshville is where 74 and 74 bypass are going to meet. Okay, I see both 74 and 74 bypass below me. And that looks like Marshville.
Brickyard 2702, show us Barge Breeder. Contact.
There's Marshville. I see you, Marshville. I see you. And time is 7:30. Okay, next we are looking for Pageland.
One thing this flight taught me that was really hard to learn on the ground is that it's a lot easier to see power lines from the air than I thought. I thought they'd be super thin and hard to see. And of course the lines themselves on the towers are hard to see, but the grounds around them are maintained and a path is cut through woods and grassy areas, and that path is super easy to see.
So the town of Pageland is going to be before Pageland, right? Yeah, it's going to be north of Pageland, so we should be looking for a town first. There's a power line down there. I just passed that power line. Okay, I know where I am. Where's the town of Pageland? That could be the town of Pageland. There's Pageland. We're close. There it is. I see the runway. And that is a beam, Pageland right now, 7:37. Okay, next waypoint is CQW in 6 miles, in 6 minutes. So that'll be at 7:43. Is that the lake? That might be that lake.
And I just continue to navigate this way until I get to my destination. Now you may wonder why not use a GPS. There is a GPS in the airplane, but the point of this flight is to practice navigating without using the GPS. The idea is to be able to continue to navigate in the event that a GPS fails or something goes wrong.
236 Romeo, since the time is Squawk VFR, can change approved today.
Squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Thank you very much for your help.
The airport I'm flying to doesn't have a control tower. Instead, everyone flying in the area announces their position and what they're doing.
We need to go to 123.0.
ATC knows this and canceled my contact with them so that I can switch over to the field's common traffic advisory frequency, which in this case is 123.0.
Darlington traffic, Cherokee 2386 Romeo. 6 miles to the north, inbound for full stop landing, Darlington. Soon as I frickin' find you, I think I found you, over yonder. Darlington traffic, Cherokee 2386 Romeo, left downwind runway 23, Darlington.
So I've arrived at the airport and now I need to do all of the last steps before landing, including announcing my position on each leg of the landing pattern.
We'll do that when we get down. First notch. Let's get our airspeed where we need it. 85. Darlington traffic, Cherokee 2386 Romeo, left base runway 23, Darlington.
And Darlington traffic says 73429, 5 miles to the north, gonna cross midfield. It's TPA, enter the left tear drop for the left downwind for 23, and we're looking for the traffic. Terminal traffic, 1 Bravo, Bravo, left downwind, runway 24, Somerville.
Darlington traffic, Cherokee 2386 Romeo, turning final, runway 23, Darlington. Little high. Okay, last flaps. Airspeed we need to get down. Here we go. 75. Aiming point. Airspeed. Aiming point. Airspeed. Aiming point, we're a little high. Made the runway. We'll roll out the power.
And Darlington traffic, 7173429, 3 miles to the north, going to cross midfield at TPA and right teardrop for the left downwind for 23, Darlington.
Okay, we're down. Flaps down. Fuel pump off. Slow ourselves down.
And that is the first leg of my cross country. 70 nautical miles, about 34 minutes, and an average ground speed of 123 knots. And this is a pretty slow airplane. It's really hard to express how rewarding this flight was. I was able to travel a total of 157 nautical miles. I navigated entirely by reference to a map, visual landmarks, and math. I took off and landed safely at 3 different airports and communicated with air traffic control. I can just begin to taste the thing I was hoping to get from learning to fly. Freedom. Freedom to take my wife wherever we want to go. Freedom to explore. Freedom to see parts of this enormous country we live in that most of the time we just fly over. Freedom to check out the tons of tiny little airports that cover the country. I can't wait to do this more. The other thing this flight taught me is that my cameras don't have an infinite battery life.
Like there.
So you don't get to see the rest of it. But to those of you who made it this far, thanks for watching. Click subscribe below to see me improve on both my flying and in making videos. See you next time.